Aí, agora está funcionando, agora estamos online. E aí, galerinha que acompanha o RPG PTBR, como é que vocês estão? Meu nome é Rodolfo, eu tô bom demais e bora continuar aí nossas aventuras aqui no Disco Elysium. Galera, é o seguinte, então, né? Ontem investigamos aí um corpo, descobrimos, né, que ele foi morto aqui no porto e agora temos, ó, deixa eu ver o que é isso aqui. Ah, temos que vir ver aqui se a gente consegue entrar nesse dito porto. Mais coisa aqui? Segura a tab pra vocês verem as coisas que tem no caminho, hein, gente. Vamos pegar tudo aqui. Ó, tem a galera aqui revolts, aparentemente rolando uma greve. Quero entrar no porto aí, não consigo não. Falar com esse cara aqui. Deixa eu entrar no porto.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
O homem grita em direção aos portões, sua voz é a mais alta do grupo. Estranhamente para um homem estridente para um homem desse tamanho. Não vai rolar aqui não. Vamos ver por aqui então. O cara inclina a cabeça, pelego.
Hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
Não sou pelego não, tchau. Vamos por aqui. Ó. Aqui que entra. Caso de uma greve, pressione o botão atrás da guarda. E aqui? Uma porta fechada, trancada de forma eletrônica. Nada? O que eu tô pensando? Não tem como destrancar ou arrombar. O que é isso aqui? Porto Industrial. É ali que eu quero ir. O que eu posso fazer aqui? Pegar essa caixinha? O cara não deixa eu passar? Deixa eu passar, velho.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Que isso?
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Ó, eu preciso entrar no porto aí, cara. Sou polícia.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to alguns.
Álcool, algum. O rosto dele se contorce repugnância, como se estivesse cheirando um rato morto.
You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Nossa, Kim, tô com um bafo desse tanto.
It's not good. It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
Credo. É verdade, eu sou alcoólatra, agora eu preciso entrar no porto.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here.
Que isso, cara? Só...
The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Eu sou a polícia, obedeça. Quero passar.
Emotions. Signs of a late stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race.
Que cara viajado.
You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
Sai fora.
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture.
Que viagem é essa?
You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
Que isso?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Ó, seu galera aí matou uma pessoa, preciso falar com seu chefe.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you.
Que isso?
The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
Que porra é essa?
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could
Não.
internalize Meshached's race theory. He
Não,
would take you as one of his own.
tô fora.
Well, not as such. What you do with the mastery of advanced race theory is up to you. You
Olha,
could reject the findings,
o chefe...
sure, or accept them and become an advanced racist.
Nossa senhora, tchau.
We still need to get into the harbor.
Oh.
There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
Então por aqui não vai rolar. Ele olhou pro telhado de onde a gente tava. Acho que é esse cantinho aqui, ó. Vamos ver. Só que pra chegar no telhado... Tem um cantinho que é por aqui, ó. Vamos ver. Que carnicento, filho da mãe. Cara eugenista, macabro. Ó. Aqui tem uns entulhos. Que eu acho que é onde dá pra gente entrar. Olha lá, ó. Subir no telhado por aqui, quer ver? Aqui, ó. Tem uns cantinhos aqui, ó. Clica lá. Nada? Ó, tab. Ó, tem muita coisa. Tem esse aqui, ó.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
Ó, visão. Que isso?
Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're too orderly.
Coloca os painéis de lado.
There it is. You see a shabby little door.
Abre aí. Ah, moleque. Vamos pelo telhado.
What is
Valeu.
this then? A tool shed? Let's investigate.
Vamos. Tem dentro. Vai não? Ah, um monte de coisa. Credo. Que é isso? Cabeça de porco. Mumificada. Isso aqui. Um tubo de magnésio vazio. Ah. E aqui? Uma placa de prata, um traste de pau amarelo e
Be
osso.
still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine.
Que isso?
The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you.
É.
There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use. Professionally, I mean.
Eu vou dizer que vai estar a mensagem: você é um detetive realmente bom. Você é realmente bom?
No, I'm just a regular detective. Thank you very much.
Alguém usou narcóticos aqui, talvez a polícia deva interferir.
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. However,
Ah, tem uma escada no canto.
see that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor, no? A secret path the local kids use.
Beleza. É isso aqui. É isso. Dinheiro, valeu. É isso aqui. Sai do caminho, fica arrebentado. Tá bom, vambora. Escadinha. Ó, tem um monte de coisa ali embaixo. Será que dá pra ir lá? Que é isso aqui? Não, pera lá, pera lá. Deixa eu pegar tudo que tem aqui primeiro. Esse batente vai desmoronar em breve. A Suena está de pé. Tinha um dinheirinho aqui, não tinha? Aqui, ó. Nada? Ó, dinheiro. Quero. Pega aí. E esse balde? Cartão postal, tá. Mais coisa? Pega a caixa. Ó, eu quero aquela roupinha de frio ali, ó. Que isso? Ah, saúde. Uma curinha. Mais din-din. Aê, consegui. Entramos no porto. Nossa, só pegando moeda no chão. Dá pra sair aqui agora? Pega ali, ó.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here.
Ah,
When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
aham, é uma capa de policial.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment.
Ele vai ler a queda.
You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
Olha ao redor.
Is aggressive up here.
É.
The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance over the container yard.
Aham.
That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
A ponte para o guindaste, tamo aí.
Is it? Kvalsund makes a lot of heavy equipment, but this is phenomenal, even for them.
Aham.
But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
É, minha capa. Nossa, 17% de chance. Vamos tentar, né? Pega lá. Ai, vou quebrar as pernas. Vai, meu brother. Ai, vai, pula. Não conseguiu. Não teve coragem.
No, that's still too high. What were you thinking? You're not a gymnast. You're a boxer. And you've climbed way too high up here.
Ah. Moral crítica, cure-se agora. Perdi toda a moral? Moral debilitada, -1. Preciso curar? Que isso?
Despair creeps into you,
Ah.
getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you once had as a police officer, it's eaten them all up now.
Que isso?
You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
Ai, ai, ai. Estou farto, ninguém gosta de
Yes,
policiais.
it can be difficult to be on the receiving end of so much distrust and outright hatred.
Nothing you
Que
can
isso?
say would make you feel any better now.
Que
Cop
isso?
gives up the detective genre for social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown.
Que
He now
isso?
lives under a bridge, drinking and occasionally throwing excrement at passers-by, shouting, "I never loved that woman." When asked to comment, former colleagues objected to the theory that his psychological disintegration was
Que isso? Perdi o game por ficar desanimado. Não! Ah, bom saber. Então quando tiver piscando aqui a barrinha, a gente tem que diminuir. Então já vamos direto pra lá, né? Que a gente sabe o que fazer. Que loucura o jogo poder acabar assim do nada. Porque se o cara desistiu de dar um jump. Vamos lá. Então agora vamos direto. Ó, o que que é aquilo ali? Eu não peguei. Ou peguei, nem lembro. É. Ah, pronto. Magnésio.
an inconspicuous part
Abre aí.
of the, because there's a there it
Tira
is.
tudo.
You see a shabby little door.
Arranca aí. Será que agora o pulinho dá certo?
What is this?
Entra aí. Tinha uma coisa lá de útil não, né? É, não fizemos nada de útil aqui. Só isso aqui que tinha uma graninha, eu acho. E sobe ali. Simbora. Ó, vamos ver se dá pra pegar ali já então. Ah, aqui primeiro, né? Vamos, filho. Demora demais. Vamos lá. Ah. Pegou? Aê! Mais um dinheirinho aqui, ó. Opa! Pega, pega. Valeu. E agora, como é que eu saio ali? Sai por ali. Tem que dar o jump? Tem que dar o jump. Ó, ali não quer ir. Aqui, também não vai. O que motiva o jump é isso aqui então e acabou.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here.
Ah, vamos
When
ver.
the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
Ó, o que estamos fazendo aqui mesmo?
I was under the impression we are on our way to meet the king of this castle under siege, Evrard, one of the people we're interviewing. This way, we may be able to get around his henchmen.
Aham.
Or it could be that we are just exploring.
Vamos ver. Você acha que essa capa é minha mesmo? Será que eu deveria ir até lá?
I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it,
Ele dá uma olhada pelo pavimento gélido.
it doesn't seem too dangerous.
Ah.
2 major stops. Whenever you're ready to do it, I'll be right behind you.
Aham.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind.
Aham.
Who knows what its pockets may hide?
Olha ao redor.
The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance.
Aham.
That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Deixa eu
His
admirar.
eyes trace the crane's contour, as if trying to memorize its majestic shape. Then he notices your gaze.
Yes. We were in the middle of something. Your cloak.
Aham. Vamos lá, né? 17 chance. Vai! Deu ruim. Tenta, tenta, tenta. Não posso deixar minha moral acabar, porque dá game over, a gente já aprendeu isso.
No, that's still too high. What were you thinking? You're not a gymnast. You're a boxer. And you've climbed way too high up here.
Moral crítica,
You
puros.
could have died there. Shit. I'm failing you. This wasn't part of our deal.
Hey! What happened?
Eu só não consigo fazer isso agora.
I understand. We can always come back when you are feeling better. It's just a cloak after all.
Que droga. Não consigo. E por aqui? Não tem opção de interação. Vou tentar de novo.
A tarpaulin cloak with possible rust. The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at that machine is a Kvalsund.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
Tá. Não é possível, não vou conseguir. Não. Aqui não mexe. Tudo isso à toa. Vamos lá, né? Não rolou, infelizmente. O que é isso aqui? Vai desmoronar. Tem um balde aqui. Baldezinho. E tem um centavinho aqui. Beleza. Vamos pra lá então. Não creio que eu vim até aqui à toa. Não consegui pular. E ali? Consegui ali? Vamos ver. Ali, consigo? Não consigo. Nenhum lugar ali. Tem que chorar, viu? Será que se dormir depois consegue mais uma vez? Testar lá o pulo? Não creio, não creio. Então vamos voltar lá no fortão e vamos ver se a gente dá uma coça nele. Senão a gente vai ter que ouvir o papo tedioso lá do eugenista de merda.
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab.
Bora. Sobe aí, meu brother. Essa porta é fechadona, eu só preciso passar pra cá, ó. Vem cá, craniometrista. Quero acessar aquele botão ali, ó. Cronometrista é a lei. Sai fora.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays
Yeah.
his degeneracy.
Tchau.
We still need to get into the harbor. There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
Tá.
Try the jump. Up there on the roof. It'll be worth it. Else there is little choice but to figure out a way to deal with the man.
Vamos ver. Tentar de novo.
Your body continues to betray your degeneracy.
Avaliar primeiro.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology?
Oh.
It must be frightening to stand. What is this? Androgynous? This
Merely standing up makes you sweat profusely.
Stop it. You are embarrassing yourself and This display of weakness may appeal to older women.
John, look, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
Ó.
You have succumbed to you reek of it. An invisible soul. No, you don't.
Ó.
You need to get another drink. Jerking, you gave
Vai
the
tomar uma
world.
porrada.
You don't. You will be.
It is back.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach.
Ó.
It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Sai fora. Um socão na barriga.
That is right. You should leave the stage and bring your troops to the city walls.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. The best idea.
Nossa senhora. Será que eu consigo dar um socão? 8% de chance? Sai fora, mano. Não, deu não. Vem cá então. Vai se fuder. Sai. Não. Ai.
Your little fist is in his giant hand. He's squeezing it. It hurts.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk.
Eu sou um alcoólatra degenerado.
I am a degenerate. Good.
Perdeu a moral.
Leave before you humiliate your whole
Ai, ai, ai.
organization any further.
Que droga. Não é possível que eu vou ter que aceitar aí o diálogo dele. O que foi, Kim? Passei vergonha aí?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians.
Tá
I'm not
bom.
even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that hook.
Tá bom. Talvez eu ataque ele de novo.
The lieutenant.
Bora. Agora tem que dar o salto, será? Eu tô sem alternativa aí. Não quero ouvir aquele papo não, meu Deus. Do eugenista. Pronto. Agora vamos lá, tentar dar o salto. Até agora nós não sabemos o nome do nosso cara, né? Estamos só com o nome inventado dele. Rafael Couto. Agora tem que dar pra pular. Moral já não tem nenhuma. Vai, agora, hein? Pula lá. Tem que clicar ali pra pular, né?
Tarpaulin cloak.
Não posso também.
The cloak? Why?
Ah,
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies.
não vou conseguir. Que droga. Ah, não. Tô preso no diálogo com aquele cara. Pera lá. Autosave aqui já foi, né? E esse aqui? Tem que ser nele. Que desagradável. Ou tem que pular ou tem que pular, senão eu vou ter que ouvir 400 milhões de diálogos daquele cara chato. Vamos. Testa aí.
An inconspicuous pile. Because there's a seat. There it is.
Valeu.
You see a shabby little door.
Boa.
What is this?
Beleza. Vamos lá. E aqui? Peguei. Aqui. Vamos lá, vamos lá. Agora tem que dar certo o jump, hein? Pelo amor de Deus. Vou até salvar. Eu não vou lá ouvir os papos daquele cara, não. Pula aqui. Ó, salvei. Vamos pra lá.
Looks like someone when the wind ruffled.
Yes, You could probably make the jump.
Bora!
Look like you've done some tracking.
Falhou. Carregamento. Ah, tá travadão.
No, no. That's
Nossa,
still
um erro.
July. You could
Um
have
erro,
died.
um erro crítico.
We can.
Tem que carregar. Quick save. Só mais uma vez, senão não vai lá ouvir o bate-papo chato do cara.
Looks like someone when the wind
Vai lá.
Yes, you could probably make the jump.
Deixa eu só salvar aqui. Pronto. Agora vai.
Our falling cloak with possible arson
Aê!
is still caught on the railing.
Pula!
As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses.
Fecha os olhos, deixe seus sentidos tomarem conta do mundo à sua volta.
Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement.
Continua a viagem pelo ar salgado.
As
Aê!
the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable. Must be the adrenaline.
É.
Hell yeah. My climbing might not have been as disco as your jump, but can we still get an aces high?
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
Show! Pega aí. Agora sim. Ah, cadê minha capinha? Espírito de corpos, calafrios. Onde que eu equipo isso aqui? Ó, estiloso. E esse calafrios? Sintonias com a cidade. Bom. Melhor que essa. Essa aqui dá drama e a outra dá conceitualização. Acho que pode ser um drama, hein? Nossa, que ridículo esse cara, velho do céu. Beleza. E agora, aquilo ali é do nosso interesse? Não, dá pra acessar isso aqui? Coletando água da chuva. Ó, onde queremos ir? Esse aqui. Nossa, tem bituca pra caramba aqui. 3 carteiras de cigarro. E esse?
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
Sente-se, descanse. Tô precisando não. Vou escolher a
If you
guarita.
must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot.
Ah,
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a
Let's get going.
bora.
The entire neighborhood can see us up here.
Então vamos. Por aqui? Que é isso? Grandes máquinas. Ah, agora deu. Maravilha. Bora lá. Por onde aqui? Só sair andando? Que isso? As grandes máquinas estão desligadas. Aqui, mais coisa? Um dinheirinho. Ó, 1,10. Mais R$1 ali. Tô com 10 pila já. Container, container, container. O cara cantando. Aí, era aqui que a gente queria chegar. Vamos até dar uma salvada. Café morno. Um instante aí, ó. O brother da interrogação. Fala, meu brother. Viemos bater um papo com você. Converse comigo.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you.
E aí,
With
polícia?
great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Ó, teve um assassinato aí.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat.
Beleza.
I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
Que isso?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Beleza.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
O que estamos chamando de Sr. de Bois?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
Que
It's
isso?
nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it. Filter it out.
Sente-se.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
Tem de piscar de volta.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Tomei dano de tanto que a cadeira é ruim.
By the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense.
Cheque
It
gigante?
should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Ai. Obrigado, Everett. Me dê sua grana aí.
Don't mention it, but also don't forget it. I'm just kidding, of course.
He's not.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun.
Cacete.
The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
Que isso? Tô mandando
When
de
he
moral.
said, "Don't worry," he actually meant be very worried.
Ó, se puder me ajudar, tá
Are
valendo.
you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right.
Será que esse é meu nome? Harry Dubois?
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Compostor, não entrar em pânico. Meu Deus. Que meleca. Kim.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
Beleza.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Que isso? Eu vou morrer agora. Vou entrar em pânico e vou morrer.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are going to shoot themselves with it.
Iraiomes também choram.
You want to cry? God, you're weak. Whatever you do, don't cry. You'll think you're disgusting.
O cara tá
Mr.
tão
Dubois,
bêbado.
You don't look so good.
Ih, acabou minha moral. Morri?
Despair creeps into you. Getting You're still coming up with sentences. He watches you melt down stoically. From nothing you can cop gives up.
Game over. Cacete. Não posso então nem aceitar o cheque nem sentar na cadeira. É muita humilhação para o nosso Harry Dubois. Então o esquema do jogo é ir salvando, né, galera? Vamos lá.
Before you is a walrus of a man with great
Bora.
effort. He straightens
Ó, houve um assassinato aí.
He looks extreme.
You go ahead.
Whatever. He forget about
É,
that.
vou ficar em
What's with
pé.
this Dubois stuff?
Please, Mr. Dubois. Let us
Não.
converse in a civilized manner. Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level.
Ó, não aceitou conversar comigo porque eu não sentei.
Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan affiliation, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Que isso? Vamos sair então. Tentar de novo.
Mr. Dubois, I hope time is on your side this time. Please, take a seat.
Nossa senhora. Por que estamos chamando de Sr.
Please,
Dubois?
Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized...
It's
Nossa.
nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's
Excellent,
bom.
Mr. Dubois. I can see that you are a reasonable
Ó,
man.
essa cadeira é uma
and
merda.
reasonable- So tell me, how can the head of the...
the chair you're sitting on has got.
Oh, by the
Nossa.
way, this, it should be...
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Espera, você conhece Gart?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
É.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Fico com isso, estou bem.
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about...
Ó,
His
dá arma agora.
slug-like lips move, but all you hit the
Nossa
word is when he
senhora.
said, don't worry. He actually meant, be very worried.
Eu cuido disso, tô nem aí.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but it's not like you left it
It was like
Ai, ai, ai.
there were two.
Officer,
I wouldn't be so sure about
Who
Vai.
does this guy think you are?
Pronto.
Ronnie the rookie? You ain't worried about no lost gun, or unpaid bill, or forgotten name. You're the bad cop. You're probably more corrupt than him.
Afundo na cadeira dobrável, sorria e cruza suas mãos atrás das costas.
The fat man does the same, sinking deeper into his chair than one would think is physically possible. He seems to be enjoying your little display. Good. Now lean in with some corruption.
Escute, Everett, nós dois sabemos que fazer a rodas do mundo girarem.
That we do, Harry. Let them say what they will about you and me. We're both born fighters.
Uma bela jogada com a cadeira, desconfortável. É um bom jeito de manter seus convidados em rédeas curtas.
Why, thank you. It's always nice when a fellow professional appreciates your work.
That's it. Now kick back and add a final flourish for dignity.
Que... Relaxe e feche com chave de ouro pela dignidade. Esse é o convite de hoje porque estou aqui para ajudar a aumentar seu tesouro. Que isso? Tá. Eu estou dizendo que sou corrupto, sou racional. Não. Ó, vim ajudar a aumentar seu tesouro. Qual será, hein? Não entendi. Pela dignidade.
You strike me as a reasonable man, Harry. I like that in a law man. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? What can Everard Clare do for you?
I think we'd like to ask you a few questions. Don't you think so, detective?
Aham.
Somehow you managed to get yourself out of this one. Now quick, keep the momentum up. Ask questions. Whatever you do, don't ask him about the gun first. You don't want him thinking you're scared.
Quero falar sobre enforcamento.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors.
Kim, nós somos bons de abrir portas?
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door, it's not going to happen.
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Absolutely nothing shady about it.
Bizarro.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
Curtiu o drama aí. Aceite a tarefa.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level.
Estala os dedos.
You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
Beleza. Então vamos lá então.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Valeu. Muito obrigado.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Valeu. Então, vamos lá. Vamos fazer amizade com o trambiqueiro master aí. O que é isso aqui? Uma escada de paletes. O café está morno. Acho que eu já tinha lido isso, né? Vamos lá. Uma salvadinha. Aquilo ali é pegável? Opa! Não deixa nada para trás. Que isso? Tem cheiro de sangue. Ué, pera lá. Não abre não? Abre aí, ó. Aê. Meia luz. Que isso? Luva. Meia luz. O que é meia luz? Não dá? Meia luz. Deixe o corpo tomar controle. Ameaça pessoas. Legal. Beleza. Então vamos. Isso aqui é pegável? Opa. Isso aqui, opa. Só coisa boa. Isso aqui. Não. Vê se por aqui sai. Onde que era a porta? Por aqui mesmo? E esse aqui?
A rusting marsh.
Ah, tá. E agora ali. Ah, por aqui. Deu bom, deu bom. Fizemos aí um novo aliado, possivelmente. Corrupto, né? Sujo, maldito. Mais um aliado, ó, que tá cheio de coisa. Marca de nádegas. Que isso? Revista La Fumée. Será que dá pra ler isso?
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note.
Que loucura. Isso aqui. Nada, nada. Aqui. Nada. Alguém deixou a máquina de café ligada. Que isso? Quero. Cartão postal. Outro.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Abra a
The
gaveta.
drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders.
É alguma coisa?
Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Vamos tentar. Nossa, de tédio ali. Ah, nem... Vai, né? Fazer o quê?
Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful. You're a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there?
Sim.
Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
Beleza. Tchau. Vamos ver aqui. Ó, remédio, eu quero. Melhorar minha moral. Esse aqui melhor. Ó, magnífico. E aqui? Ó, cálculo visual. Eu gostei desse. Mas tira o drama. Bem que eu tô com a camisa que dá drama ali, ó. Nossa senhora. Quem inventou as roupinhas desse cara tá de parabéns. Vamos lá. Então vamos falar com o cara aqui. Descobrir qual porta ele quer que eu abra. E aí, meu brother?
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion
É.
of scab. Smells like politics, though.
I was just messing with you.
Aham.
Imagine, you cops going on a strike. Speaking
Aham.
of, what brings the RCM here,
É.
to the Wild North?
É uma porta aí que eu tenho que abrir.
A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open?
Eu esperava que você pudesse me dizer.
Of course, I got you. You don't know anything.
Ele toca a lateral do nariz, dá uma
That's you
piscadela.
right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say.
Tá. Ó, eu não estou fazendo isso por motivos
Oh,
políticos.
so the none of the above type, are you? I get it, I get it. I like to keep my distance too,
Ah,
but it doesn't matter. It's a good thing you're doing. Thanks.
ah.
What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the wailing in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Tá.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
He means he's not going to tell you, cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for Everard.
Valeu. Beleza. Então, vamos lá ver se a gente consegue abrir essa porta. Eu não consigo chegar lá atrás. Como que eu vou chegar atrás? Ah, a porta. Acho que é a porta daqui, pô. Ó. É isso. É essa porta
You
azul.
see a heavy steel door with a prominent The door
Oh.
does not. But the cold old Kobo, it leads to a side building.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
É.
Yes. I suppose it's worth seeing if we can. If you say so.
Tá. Não vai ser ali então não. Temos que dar outro jeito de chegar lá. Vamos ver se é por aqui. Tem que chegar atrás da estufa. Eu não consigo nem chegar na estufa. Ó, um remedinho. Como é que eu chego aqui, ó? Não consigo. Por aqui também não vai? Fala comigo, menina.
Kuno, the pig's getting pretty close to me. Looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. Pig's come to take me in.
Acho que nós prender ela, chega perto.
I'm going away for a long, long time, Kuno. Going away for life.
Tá.
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
Ei,
You
atrás
don't
da
wanna
cerca.
fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence.
Ó, como é que eu vou chegar ali, hein? Será que tem como dar a volta? Vamos ver. Por aqui? Vamos lá. Ó, o lixo aqui. O que tem no lixo? Vender garrafas. Ó, aqui. Pegar. Melhor. Olha isso comigo, Bocói. Ferramentas. Vamos pegar esse aqui, ó. Põe na mão. A sacolinha de lixo. Vamos pegar. Pronto. Pegar a garrafa. Vamos pegar tudo pra vender. Onde que vende isso mesmo? Eu lembro que tinha opção disso. Em algum lugar tinha como vender. Ó,
Whoa, what have we here?
uma
A
ponte.
bridge with loose nails and rotten-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Vamos lá. Ó, mais lixo. Pega o lixo. Quero ver como é que eu vou pagar o meu hotel. Aqui, ó, deve ser por aqui pra chegar lá. Aí, maravilha, que isso?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Aí. Olha, remédio no chão. O que é isso aqui? Mangueira de jardim. Ah, esse aqui é a casa atrás da estufa. Beleza. Que isso? Cor laranja de mendigo. Mais velocidade de reação. E aqui?
This must be it. The
Ah,
basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have
Oh.
turned green from sea air.
vamos ver se
And
a
there's
gente,
a knocker shaped like a lion's head.
ver se a gente
The
ouve
leather
alguma coisa.
upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. You don't hear any movement.
Ah,
In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you.
é,
No birds chirp.
abre.
You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt.
Aham.
Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head.
Aham.
The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one heard.
Aham.
There might be important information in the apartment. I mean, there might.
Bora lá ver, né? Ó, o que temos aqui? Vamos ver, vamos ver. Remedinho. Maleta cheia de roupas. Mais remedinho. E aqui? Mundo da bengala. Que casinha bizarra. Ó, um aula de lógica, gosto. Que é isso aqui?
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This
Isso.
isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
É.
It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Ele sente a bandeira.
The lieutenant does not bow to the flag. It accepts your salute with quiet dignity.
É, e aqui? E aqui?
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad...
Não quero nada de caneca, não. Beleza. Valeu a pena, né? Milhões de remédios. Isso aqui.
There must be another way into the building.
Nossa. Pra mim aqui o volume foi no máximo. Totalmente desregulado. Ah, e aí? Vai correr agora, moça?
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back. Logic error. She is not sleeping right now.
Pig's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out.
Você tá dormindo agora?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
Beleza, resolvido. Vamos voltar lá no boss. Onde que dava pra vender essas melequinhas mesmo? Não era aqui. Será que era aqui? Não, aqui era pra pegar mais lixo. Ah, não. Apertei o botão errado. Tab. Não era aqui. Acho que era pra cá. Ó, mais lixo aqui. Opa. Acho que era aqui que vendia, não era? Lixo reciclado? Acho que era. Será que era aqui?
The tear machine stands in the
Ah,
corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
toma.
Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle.
Valeu. Mais rico. Ó, então... Vamos lá falar com o boss. Muito mais fácil agora do que pular igual foi antes. Corre, galera. Que isso? Pior de baleia. Bora lá, resolvemos seu problema. Deixa eu inclusive tirar essa sacolinha de lixo da mão, né? Pronto. E aí, seu merda? Fala comigo.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't
Aí.
have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
E aí, sobre o homicídio?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry.
Ah,
One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
ó, combinado não era que eu entrasse, então eu não entrei.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Você disse que o linchamento e a greve são relacionados. Como?
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Ah, o que você quer dizer?
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
Que isso?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Continue.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Vai em
About
frente.
my fun container? It's a hoot, Harry. Who knows? Maybe you'll be in here the next time they move it. It will be very fun, I promise.
Viagem.
But enough about me and my container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them. All hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal. Getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy. The one who likes hanging out and trees.
What makes you think the Wild Pines negotiator can't control them?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Quem exatamente fez essa
There's a
pressão?
militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
Tá. Havia uma bala na cabeça do cara.
So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
E essa advogada mirim aí?
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
E falam sobre os títulos, então.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Onde eu acho eles?
You know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
Olha, no futuro eu preciso de apoio. Você pode pedir para as crianças cooperarem aí?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Tá bom, valeu. Por que ele tá me dando dinheiro? Ai, ai, ai.
The lieutenant watches you pocket the banknote. He looks a little puzzled.
Good boy, a real team player. Now, do you have any more questions?
Então é isso, né? Boa conversa.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry.
Ainda.
It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
O que isso quer dizer? Eu sou mais esquerdo que você. Eu sou um patriota. Eu sou um engenheiro de dinheiro. Você é mais que um corrupto, não é, né? Eu sou engenheiro de dinheiro.
Perfect, Harry. That's perfect. My version of the left is not against the companies, it's with the companies. Honestly, what I have in mind is a business proposal. A left-wing business proposal, but still...
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Que meleca. Beleza?
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning.
Quarta-feira de manhã.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I know we can do business together.
Vamos falar sobre minha arma então aí.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Então se fizer as coisas pra você, você ganha minha arma de volta.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Valeu.
See you soon, Debada. Just kidding, but not too much.
Então beleza, então vamos ver aqui. Roupas. Tenho que dar mais um de lógica. Acho que eu prefiro do que a do drama, hein? Isso aqui. Gorro laranja de mendigo. Menos retórica. Mais velocidade de reação. Ai. Speed helicóptero. O que mais que é? Itens. Bola de arremesso de peso. Cronograma de produção. Que isso? Um rifle antigo. Um cartão postal. Isso aqui. Foto instantânea de tatuagens. Interagir.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it.
Tá. Esse aqui, um recado escrito à mão na geladeira.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper.
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best. but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
Huh.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the... You find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer.
Ué, então dá pra ler a memória de filamento aqui, ué. Ah, mas não tem como. Tá. Evidência, bala rachada. A gente não interagiu com ela ainda.
Is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim, the squashed
Sinta a bala atrás do
has some
saco.
sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle. Usually.
What?
O que eu faço com a
If I
bala?
was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
Boa ideia.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket
Selecione.
of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. It's
core?
quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound. You
Revestimento.
can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
É uma bala com aproximadamente 5 de
A
diâmetro.
jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader, like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary and jacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Que loucura. Cidade lendária, eu tenho muita chance de passar. Bora!
A rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belma-grade rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you, the dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
Ó, acho que eu sei de onde isso veio.
Okay. And?
Veio de um rifle Belma-grade.
Antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
É.
I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech loaders in peacetime. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Parece que estamos procurando por um entusiasta de antiguidades.
Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
Bora. Show. Esse livro.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friso. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections. International developments. Kunst und Kultur. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Nada a ver comigo não.
The eternal problem, according to G. Martin, is that under capitalism, the worker is rendered incapable of perceiving their own agency or lack thereof. Thus, they tend to experience their own oppression as though it were happening to somebody else.
Que
You
isso?
flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Devagar. Beleza. Agora esse aqui, envelope branco. De onde veio
You
isso?
take the legal documents out of the envelope, a 12 to 40 month construction period, and the zoning plan in the addendum. There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Ó,
I should have seen it. Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
beleza. Então investigamos tudo que temos aí no nosso inventário. Aparentemente não vai dar para chegar no porto agora. Vamos continuar descendo aqui. Estamos estiloso as hell. Vamos ver. Qual seria o nosso próximo passo? Vamos pôr um pontinho aqui nas nossas habilidades. Enciclopédia tá legal, lógica tá legal. Velocidade de reação é o quê? O mais rápido de agir, o homem intocável. Essa é legal. Compostura. Interação é legal. Coordenação motora não usou quase nada. Percepção usa toda hora. Enciclopédia também usa toda hora. Lógica é bom. Tô gostando de drama também. Óculo visual. Ó, vamos aqui então. Vou um pouquinho mais de percepção. Interação também tá sendo bacana. Vamos pôr aí. Ó, que dúvida cruel. Retórica. Conceitualização. Cálculo visual. Vou pôr um pontinho a mais nele aqui. Isso é muito bom. Tá, então vamos aqui ver nosso interroga representante. Contra representante, proprietário do porto. Ela deveria estar em algum lugar. Algum lugar onde? Peça ao Kim para te falar sobre o caso. Investigar a comercial amaldiçoada, não. Pague pelos danos, não. Lave o cheiro de morte. As tatuagens da vítima, não. Quem fez a ligação denunciando o crime. Usando o recurso do Kim para... tá. Explora as passagens secretas, não. Consiga 2 assinaturas. consiga que Isabel na vila de pesca sem nome assine o documento. Uma vez que assinar terceiro segurado, envia o documento. Tá. Encontre a arma. Nossa, difícil, hein? Ela deveria estar em algum lugar. Cadê essa moça? Que isso? Ah, tá. E o mapa? Obter uma cópia do mapa. Ah, talvez dá pra obter uma cópia do mapa na livraria. Tentar fazer isso. E aí?
Container, container, I'll...
The lyrics to this container song are being made up. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not.
Container, container.
Fica feliz aí, brother. Então, vamos lá. Temos que achar essa advogada. Onde ela poderia estar, só Deus sabe. Vamos aqui. Desce. Beleza. Oi. Agora o Chan é achar onde que vai estar. Olha que esse brother aqui. Parece saber das
How'd you
coisas.
like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
É. Foi bom.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains.
O cara.
You talk to the boss eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
Quem você acha que matou
The
enforcado?
mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
É. Parece que o Titus matou.
I haven't heard anything about that. But if that's true, well, he was an enemy combatant.
O que que
He
significa?
was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts.
Você estava envolvido?
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
He believes the Hardy Boys could have done it.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No
Ah,
problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
valeu. Deixa eu ver aqui. Mais um pontinho. É, o drama tá valendo a pena, né? Vou pôr um pouquinho mais de percepção aí. Velocidade de reação também ajudou várias vezes. Um pouquinho mais de drama. Detectar mentiras, muito bom. Ó, vamos descer. Então temos que achar uma moça agora. Dando uma passada por aqui. E aí, galera? Nada, que é isso? Din, valeu. Essa moça, não, com certeza não é ela, né? Fala
The
comigo.
small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century.
Tchau. Fica aí, senhorinha. E aqui? Ó. Tab sagrado de cada dia, revelando coisas. Regata branca. Não. Nossa investigação.
Old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island.
É, deixei o monumento. Nada. E aqui? Uma Nox. Dá pra passar pra ali? Esse brother, fala comigo.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
Ah, falou. Vamos continuar. Tem um banco ali. 2h20. Provavelmente já já nós vamos ficar cansadinho pra dormir. E aqui? Doação de comida. Fala comigo, brother.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here.
Te mando um joinha. Valeu. Nada do que eu queria. Que isso? Arcane sobe dos esgotos. Nada aqui. Ah, a ponte. Supostamente eu deveria atravessá-la em breve, né? Eis que. Oh. Eletroquímica. O que tem aqui? Até quarta-feira, 7h15. Que dia que é hoje? Dia 1. O dia 1 é qual dia? Será que é segunda? Não fala. Vamos ver. Dá pra descer ali? Placa da manteiga no chão. Não dá. Tá escrito ali. Loja de penhores. Ah, coisa boa. Opa. Ó, vamos ver tudo que tem aqui. Um tipo de máquina. Vamos ver esse de cá. E aí, meu brother?
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Fala comigo.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
Ó, você teve algum problema recente?
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
É. Bela
It
coleção.
keeps me entertained.
Roy está chapado, se sim, o que ele está usando? Pera aí. Deixa eu usar minha luvinha aqui de eletroquímica. Ai, ai, ai. Toma. Essa outra é meia luz. Vai. Roy, você está chapado, Roy?
How can I help
Ó,
you?
melhorou.
Okay. He definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it. And many other things besides. But you can't cut through the jumble of sensations to get to the answer. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues.
Eu quero vender umas paradas aí.
Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of
Ó,
selling?
quero vender esse. Quero vender esse. Posso não? Como é que eu vendo? Fechar. Vai? Fechar negócio? É.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Ah, tá. Agora foi. Cartão postal. Esse aqui também. Aê. Não tenho nada pra vender no
Another time,
momento.
perhaps.
Tô investigando um rolê aí, cara.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
Ó, sabe alguma coisa sobre o representante da Wild
Can't
Pines?
say I'm a huge admirer of wild pines, and I can't say I trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved.
Você conheceu o
No,
cara?
just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now,
The
beleza.
pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
E essa arma aqui?
someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
Ó,
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
então a outra pessoa que comprou também era
She
policial?
didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Vendi minha
Right,
própria
so, Let
arma.
me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Talvez ela seja um vigilante, quer provar que pode fazer esse trabalho tão bem quanto nós.
It's possible in these parts of town. We ought to find her and discourage her from taking justice into her own hands.
É. Alguma ideia de onde posso encontrar ela?
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her down in time.
Alguém do sindicato veio aqui pra saber dessa arma?
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They went their way. It was a trip, but you...
Wait, then it might be true. Everard's claims.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
People as oleaginous as Everard seem like they're lying, even when they're really being truthful.
Cacete. Então é isso.
Of course.
Então tchau. Cacete, vendi minha arma, como assim? Tava
You
muito
see rows
bêbado.
of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse. A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say
Oh, that's the headless phone rider. There's been a lot of interest in that particular figurine. I had to hide it so it wouldn't fall into the wrong hands.
Que
He
viagem.
doesn't elaborate on these wrong hands. It's unlikely that he ever will.
I've heard about it. I've heard the headless phone rider ride the headless bull.
Yes, there are several competing versions of the story, but I believe this figurine is a more canonical representation. The headless phone rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn
Que
tracksuit.
loucura é essa?
50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for that head.
Beleza.
Did I
Comprar.
mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky?
Aham.
Always carry it with you.
Valeu. Será que é da sorte mesmo? Itens. Preço 42. Vou ficar com ele aí. Vai que dá sorte. Bora. Ó, tô com 94 pila, hein? Tô quase rico. Preciso agora de um mapa da cidade. Dá pra chegar ali, não? Dá. E ali? Dá pra chegar ali? Essa galera. Ah, tá. Esse aqui é pertinho da loja. Vamos ver se é aqui que vende o mapa. E aí, minha amiga? Você vende um mapa aí?
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus? Yes, yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
Era um mausoléu de negócios falidos, consumindo energia vital da livraria.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors that have been thrust upon us. But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity?
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers.
Eu quero comprar um livro aí.
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything?
Eu
She
quero.
smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Eu quero comprar. É aqui?
A small mountain of colorful board game
Não.
boxes.
Quero comprar um mapa. Não. Não. Acho que não é possível. Aqui? Também não. Será que lá fora?
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series.
Ah,
A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do.
é.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year, coming not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all.
Ah,
Now,
Deus, não.
shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
Tchau. Aqui. Nada. Cadê o meu mapa?
The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies of famous people.
Tá. Nada, né? Aqui.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime.
Não. Livro paranormal piorou.
Several maps have been
Aê!
attached to a bulletin board hidden inside. The maps look old and faded.
Aê.
Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol.
Quero
I'm
comprar o
sorry,
mapa.
officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. They're quite
Beleza.
valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Beleza.
Yes, yes. Are you interested or not?
Bora.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
Bom, agora tem um mapa, né? Ó, não tem um mapa. Ah, tem, pronto. Então onde que estamos? O do quintal, barracas de pescador. Pra ali que eu teria que ir, né? Beira-mar de Martinez. Psicodélico esse mapa. Que isso? Valeu! Então, será que eu já devo dormir? O que mais que eu poderia fazer? Eu tenho que achar onde que tá a moça, né? Deixa eu ver aqui. Encontre representantes sobre a proprietária do porto e questione sobre o assassinato. Onde ela estaria? Vamos vagar por aí. Proprietária do porto. Será que essa pessoa aqui?
A striking woman
Oh.
leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Chique ela
Her
tá.
green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I
Aê.
represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCN.
Apertar a mão dela.
I'm glad to see you here.
Aperte forte e frio.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from a Unusual medical leave. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation. And the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Ó, mostra as fotos pra ela. E essas tatuagens?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Ah. Então, beleza. Vamos falar sobre o linchamento. O que você fala do linchamento aí?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
Ah.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Eu não sei nem meu distintivo, nem o número.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois.
Meu distintivo tá aqui não. Meu distintivo, sim, claro, ele está aqui comigo.
He looks at you expectantly. Then it dawns on him.
Acho que eu não tô com ele, não.
Oh. And what happened to it, Detective?
Lembra que meu parceiro disse que eu sofri um episódio médico em comum? Pois é, perdi o distintivo.
See. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Foi.
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
Eu poderia até ter comido o distintivo, eu não me lembro de nada desse mundo, dessa cidade, nada.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Você tá
She's a
brincando.
professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually
Nossa.
beneficial arrangement.
Que isso, ela não pode ser repetida. Sugestão baixa. Mais um simpático de sua amnésia. Vamos tentar! Vai!
Feelings will guide the way.
Senhora, eu preciso saber sobre o linchamento. É importante pra mim, é o caso que eu estou resolvendo.
It is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
Você tem muito mais, eu tenho apenas isso. Abra as mãos. Essa é a totalidade da minha existência.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
É uma casa em algum lugar, eu só tenho esse caso. Nossa.
Officer.
Não me lembro de nada, esse é desse linchamento. Existe apenas essa costa e esse linchamento.
You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting it. Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either.
Nossa.
Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Claro, vamos conversar, vem cá. Eu não faço ideia aqui de onde que tá o meu distintivo, o que que eu faço?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and you know, not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
E
This
agora?
woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
Nossa.
Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
E se a gente achar meu distintivo?
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
Verdade.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
E aí, o que você propõe para que a gente não investigue as drogas? E aí, Eric, colou aí na live. Bom dia, baita jogo. Valeu, brother. Ô, tô rachando o bico aqui desse bêbado maluco. O Dubó, né? Nosso personagem.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Beleza. Vamos voltar a ela. Ó, acabou de acabar aqui o meu conhecimento, ó. Agora eu virei um mendigo pedinte.
You wouldn't be a cop anymore, but a hobo. That would mean game over for the cop chapter of your adventures. But who knows where the hobo part takes you? To the bar, the old l'Assommoir, to the pier or the sewers, to Le Royaume, where for 300 years they interred the dead. You could plunder royalist crypts for long-forgotten triple malt bourbon, then fight the Aramakan beast that lurks the bottommost sepulchres.
Que bizarrice. -1 na compostura. Não. E o toque alto? Tempo de pesquisa 2 horas. Solução. Não gasta nada pra pensar isso? Gasta. Vamos fazer isso aí. Pronto, vai. Vamos voltar a falar com ela então. Aceitamos o job.
Good. What can I help? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Você quer que investiguemos?
You won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Vou precisar de alicate corte.
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Show.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
Tá. Já temos alguns suspeitos de que um dos motoristas representa linchamento.
Might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done.
Então beleza.
Yes?
Vamos aceitar o caso.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something.
Bora.
It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I suspect the traffic jam won't disperse for a few more days. You should have the time you need.
Show.
In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Tá. Bora. Você não pode me dar uns 10 reais, não? Perguntar isso, vai.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
Por que não?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
Que cabelo
A
brilhante.
well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, positively statuesque, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible, within reason. Now look at you, you misery-clad sinner.
Seu sim vestido de miséria.
Your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. The scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable.
Coitado, cara.
Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too.
Ai, ai, ai. O que é esse sentimento? Nunca senti isso antes.
You haven't really been in the presence of gentlefolk either, have you? What shame is there to be felt in front of these dock workers, cop?
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Tem que conseguir suportar pra pedir o dinheiro, vai.
It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does is surprisingly eloquent, really. The last one, not the first three. Those apes.
Excuse me? I didn't hear you. Did you say money?
Não, não, falei não. Que droga.
Of
Tchau.
course, detective.
Pô, eu tô quase conseguindo pagar. Deixa eu pegar minha sacolinha aqui. Não é possível. Vamos ver se a gente acha uma garrafa pra vender. Ah, não. Policial mendigo. Vamos ver o que tem aqui. Não. Não tem dignidade, não tem nada. Aí, uma sacolinha velha. Será que dá pra chegar lá em cima? Ai, gente, até chorei.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest.
Né, quero entrar aí não. Quero dinheiro. Que isso? Ó, casaco naval. Isso aqui. Quero latinhas velhas. 10 centavos por latinha. Cadê? Nada aqui. Ali em cima tem uma galera. Será que dá pra ir lá? Já são 3 da tarde. Nossa, de novo esse som bugado. Ó, o Eric tá aí acompanhando a live, cara. Tem como não rir desse jogo não. Os diálogos que eles colocam, puta que pariu. Ó, ali o lixo eu já peguei tudo já, né? Deixa eu ver aqui. Tem uma coisa ali, ó. Que isso? Você ouve gritos das aves. Aqui. Ó, R$1. Tô quase pagando minha dívida. Ó o lixo. Coisa no lixo? Tem. Show. Eu tenho que pagar R$100 redondo pro cara, não é isso? Bora. Essa galera aqui nada. Isso aqui pega? Não. Vamos aqui. Ó, esse caminha... cara de caminhão aqui. O que tá acontecendo?
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils.
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days.
Quanto tempo está aqui?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew.
Caralho.
Is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Eu curto seu estilo, cara.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need?
Me dá um trocado.
Huh?
Ah, não.
The bosses, man.
Ah, tá. Você não tem dinheiro então não, né? Olha. O que você está transportando aí?
Relax. He's merely joking.
Cruel, sempre quis um amigo do submundo.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. They usually get shipped to Grodd and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately.
Posso pegar um agasalho aí?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
Nada legal
Not
então?
unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Beleza.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Tchau.
Don't be a stranger.
Então não é com ele. Vamos descer mais. E aí, caminhoneiros? Fala comigo, meu brother. Você também tem um caminhãozinho?
You see a Samaran street vendor. The name, Sileng.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here.
O que tá cool aí?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool. The customers are cool. The place is cool. And one more thing.
Esse sotaque indiano.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang.
You feel a twitch in your index fingers. There's a finger shootout brewing.
Toma.
Don't shoot, officer. Have we got an arrest here or just a shakedown?
Shakedown.
Good one, officer. You're a funny guy. Now, what can I do for you?
Eu só preciso de 2 respostas aí.
Then fire away, officer.
Que tipo de coisa você está vendendo? De onde vem? Convença a te dar mais dinheiro. Ele nem me deu dinheiro. Os pacotes de comida que você está vendendo tem ajuda humanitária. Tá, o que você está vendendo aí?
Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here.
Tá.
Only freedom.
Você tem licença para vender?
Don't joke, officer. We don't have permits. Just economic freedom.
Olha em
Take a
volta.
look around.
You glance around at the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with sunflower seeds and a dust-choked air.
It's beautiful. Beautiful freedom.
Aí, ó, legal. Nenhuma licença significa menos trabalho para mim. Vamos seguir em frente.
That's right. Revachol is the best place for an independent self-employer like myself. That's why it's so cool with all the models coming here and cool celebrities.
Ó, quero perguntar outra coisa. Ó, me dá uma grana.
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Eu quero dinheiro.
Oh, okay. But why, officer?
Preciso de dinheiro.
Ah, yes. Money is very important.
Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not doing a very good job.
Sorry, detective.
Tá bom. Vou continuar olhando. Acho que eu vou achar quem que tá contrabandeando, gente. Não é possível. Ó, lixo. Vai ter garrafinha aqui pra eu vender. Deixa eu ver. Pega tudo. Vamos ficar rico. E aqui, tem também?
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
These are all boring.
Nossa.
Boring third-rate ho-hum sunglasses. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably direct more UV light into your pupils.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool. UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work.
Vamos ver. Aê! A escrita enquanto sob a armação parece esculpida da mão em osso.
Oh, very interesting choice, officer. Very high culture.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. You've become a sea monster. Alright, but these actually make your vision worse. It's like literally being underwater.
Wow, officer! You look so cool! And and they can be yours for a mere 3 riyal. My regular customers have passed them all up because they've got no taste.
The lieutenant tilts his head and steps back, eyes narrowed in a thorough examination.
You look like a musician, like a blind musician, but you could do worse. Take them if you want.
Ó, menos um em percepção e mais um no império anterior. Ó, legal, hein?
A man who knows his style.
Valeu. É, porque o meu atualmente, ó... Ah, não, ele tá dando cálculo visual. Vou ficar aí com o de cálculo visual. Ok. Nada aqui. Mais caminhoneiros. Qual que é a chance de eu achar meu distintivo? 0, né? Ó, tem mais caminhoneiro aqui não? Nenhum? E aí? Será que essa véia é caminhoneira? Fala, véia.
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph. In her no response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Fala
If you
comigo.
want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you?
Eu sou a lei.
I don't suppose you could tell me where we are, Lowman. Oh, never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s. Back in Mecca, during the time of the revolution. The sidewalks and cafes are filled with young people.
Que isso, a véia tá viajando total, ó.
New Boyadeiro picture starring Gabriel Buendero. Until you came along, that is.
Olha, eu tenho que falar umas questões policiais aí pra você.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
Eu preciso saber aí sobre umas drogas.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare.
Onde que eu consigo isso aí?
If you don't know,
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
Ó, o Everett me mandou. Coloque dentro do nariz e bata 2 vezes.
who the fuck is Irad? And what do I care about the union boss? He's no Gabriel, he's no Franco Negro. He's not even Hermenegildo the Hound.
Ó, você tá passando drogas por aí?
Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
O que você tá transportando
Just
aí?
this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiris to Grad, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiris to Grad, Lowman?
Drogas.
No, Lowman, diamonds.
Ó, se tivesse que chutar, quem que tá mexendo com drogas aqui?
Easy. Is the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Por que você tá aqui então, se você não tá mexendo com drogas,
Where do you
moça?
want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done. Now.
Tá, valeu.
Yes, go.
Então é quem, hein? Não tem mais nenhum. Esse cara não. Ó, me dá esse dinheiro aí. Sai, Kim. Vou pegar meus 60 centavos. Não tem mais nenhum, né? Que é interagível. Ó, mais dinheiro ali. Vou pegar esse aqui. Não. Falar com o Kim não. Pegar a grana. Falar com esse brother aqui. Fala comigo.
Welcome to Revachol.
Nós estamos aí.
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city.
Que isso?
Nonetheless, it belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
Que você tá grilado, Kim?
It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
What he means is fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination.
Que tá rolando aqui?
Oh, come on, man. I just said welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
I know exactly what you meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself and behave.
Que isso?
But you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Silence.
Que isso?
Them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
Bom, acho que todos nós aprendemos alguma coisa aqui, só rir porque é maneiro.
The lieutenant exhales and resumes his regular calmness.
Temos umas perguntas aí.
He smells of heavy motor oils and his breath of high tar content cigarettes, probably Astra Whites.
O que está transportando?
Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so it's a sit and wait on your ass situation.
O que você ia pegar aí?
Apples is exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had something to hide.
História esfarrapada, hein?
Look, as detective, I come from a long line of lorrymen. We got ancient rights and privileges. Oh, I'm here to pick up a load of fucking apples, man. Just regular Koiko picked apples.
Damn, you're not gonna get more out of him on this. He's put up the wall of racism.
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
Então você não está contrabandeando drogas para fora, né?
Not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Por que você tá aqui então?
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kids sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
Quem tá passando as drogas então?
Obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
Aquele cara?
Of course he's a lorry driver. What? He tell you he's just some simple businessman or some shit? His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself has to say.
Então tchau. Vamos lá falar de novo com ele. Estamos sem opção mesmo. O que é isso aqui? Nada. Que meleca. O que é isso aqui? Toque alto. Pistolas de dedo. Instalar não ajuda. -2. Solução. Beleza. Fala com ele aí.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Que você tá sabendo das drogas aí.
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
Eu curto drogas.
That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale.
Sir, it appears to be true. No drugs in sight. Not in the box of sunglasses or under the speakers.
Nós estamos procurando pro caminhão que está trazendo drogas.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor.
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction. We'd believe him if we didn't know better.
Aí, ó.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder, and he's an asshole. I'm...
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
Ó. A fonte me disse que é você que tá transportando as drogas aí.
No! That's insane! It's the fat hater. He's been eyeing me for a week and he sent you here.
Ó, então
Maybe
fala.
He's the one, huh?
Quem tá passando drogas?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Yeah.
Crowd, you know, the drug crowd.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Olha, não era algum pessoal. Você sabe quem são? Fala aí.
Shush, please. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please, don't get me into this mess. I spent 15 years working my way up.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
Ó, nós somos colegas, Sileng, nos ajude aqui. Ninguém vai saber que foi você.
She, okay?
Ah.
Other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her.
A dama é aquela velha ali?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
He's not ruling her out.
Ah, tá. Quem são esses outros motoristas
All of
aí?
them. I don't know. I told you all I know.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I
Tá.
don't hang out with them.
Tá bom.
All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detective.
Ah.
You deserve it.
Me dá uma grana então.
No need to dress this one up.
Oh,
Ele não aceitou.
But what? Ah, yes.
Are you trying to ask?
Sorry, detective.
Pronto, valeu. Então vamos lá de novo, né? Era por aqui que ia na véia, não era? Não. Por cima. Então de novo. Segunda tentativa. Na véia. 2 no indiano. Vem cá. Que bagunça do cacete. Fala comigo. É tu, minha senhora?
Lowman, you called me at an opportune moment.
É, você aí, ó.
Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
É isso aí.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs.
Então não é você não?
I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me.
Ah.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
Ó. Então quem que é?
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around? When I have my movies to go to. The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there. It's all in the middle of this town.
Que
there's
isso?
a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
In the background,
Maluca.
a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air.
Valeu. Que coisa. Uai, gente, se não é ela, ferrou. E agora? Voltar nesse cara aqui, então. Estamos sem opções, aí. Tem que ser esse brother. Todo mundo se acusando aí, pô. Ó.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man.
É.
What's on your mind? I don't want to talk about that.
Ah. Olha, eu preciso de ajuda.
Man, I was hoping she'd catch a break. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some mastermind evildoer.
Como é que ela
A
é?
youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got it. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
Quem é ela?
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the Lady Driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why.
Again, not a lie as far as you can tell.
Tá. Que coisa. Quem é ela?
A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to.
Quando ela
Damn, I
vazou?
don't wanna... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad.
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
É.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation.
Ó.
The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you.
Acredite, é
I
isso
just
aí.
can't, man. I'm not naive.
Como é que ela tá
She's got
perturbada?
the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
Ué, cara, a vida é só uma piada.
Maybe. But not another person's life.
Você não tem medo
I
dela?
heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me too. That she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know?
Ela deixou o
We talked
caminhão
about
aí?
mine. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Wait, this guy says they're friends, then acquaintances, and he's okay with others ratting her out.
Forçar Tommy? Nossa, que difícil. Então você não se importa, né, se outros se denunciarem. Você não quer só sujar suas mãos. Que é isso? Olha, ele é um suspeito, você tem que falar onde ela tá, senão não consigo terminar a investigação.
I thought you were a different kind of cop.
Cadê ela?
Here.
The keys to a motor lorry. Pretty complex. Looks like a chain lock.
The lorry's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know.
When did she leave?
Last Friday.
Valeu.
Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it was hard, but you did the right thing.
You don't really think so?
I really do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in the RCM. Take care, sir.
Tá, depois da estátua, caminhãozão verde. Vejamos. Qual seria? Esse aqui? Esse aqui. É o único verde que eu vejo.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporary, is parked in the shadow of the ruins, looming.
This is the one our man pointed to.
Destranca a
You
porta.
push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Arranca a capa do banco.
A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachon. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Please.
Abra o
This
mapa.
large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock. And this person knows them all. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock.
Tá.
The commuters don't even look down.
Vamos
This
pro segundo
minuscule
mapa.
map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the final
terceiro.
map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of motorway 881. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract.
So it would seem. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Quem você acha que tá por trás
It's
disso?
definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
Tá.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick this up later.
Tá.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn from years of use. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
E dentro do jornal?
It's an issue of Petit Féric from last Wednesday.
Ó,
A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
pega o
It
bilhete.
looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the ULAN frequency system.
The ULAN frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
Que doideira.
The pull-out toolbox slides back
Beleza.
into its nest. The rest is as it was. Posters, a
Ah.
radio, dust on the windows.
Como é que tá os
You wedge
pedais?
yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, but one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Uma lixa.
Sandpaper adds extra.
Ah. Que loucura.
Sandpaper? A novel technique?
A lixa também removeria o padrão da bota.
Yes.
Uma das pegadas do local do crime tinha isso. Uma sola mais lisa.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
Cacete. Primeiro contrabando de drogas, agora é isso. Que isso?
We've identified one of the footprints, but there are still 7 to go.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls, but there's something strange about the passenger seat.
Ó, vamos ver o
Looks
rádio.
like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
Fazer alguma coisa com esse rádio?
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key.
The
Beleza.
ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat. You close the rusty old lorry door.
We
Beleza.
definitely need to return sometime later. We didn't get enough.
Tá.
A lorry abandoned.
Pra abrir aqui, ele falou de novo. É os
These
posters.
are movie posters featuring starlets from one of them particularly catches your eye.
Ah.
A centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy with a hint of amberex wafting through the bitter air of the cabin.
Que cheiro é
The
esse?
remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly.
Que loucura.
This is Tijon,
Ah.
a starlet from the dawn of cinematography. She wasted away in a drug den called The door to the river. Not far from here, on Boogie Street. A mixture of
Boogie
cocaine
Street?
and morphine. She was afraid of the world. And the camera, too. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard, and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat.
Aqui não tinha nada, né?
Pull out toolbox.
Então é isso.
Great. I think we got everything.
Ah,
A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
tá. O que você quer me dizer?
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
E aí, o que você acha, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful.
Os cartazes de filme.
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Ah. Será que a indústria de filme não pode estar
I'm going to
envolvida?
say
E o que
we didn't
sindicato?
find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Evrard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road.
In short, this is a future angle. Possibly a good one.
Você acha que a polícia vai abrir investigação disso?
We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it.
Beleza.
There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
O que você está
The
pensando
fact
então?
that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All
Opção.
the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Beleza, então. Mais alguma coisa?
Debrief over. After you.
Então bora. Vamos lá falar com a tia que vai nos dar informações do lixamento. Que se recusou a me dar dinheiro. Ai, foi engraçado. Vamos lá. Era por aqui, não era? Ah, tem uma casinha aí no porto. Casinha não, né? Um barquinho. Não achei mais lixo para vender, já são quase 5 da tarde. Não conseguirei pagar minha dívida hoje, infelizmente. Vamos lá. Fala comigo, senhorita.
You're back. Good.
Ó,
What can I help you with?
descobri.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Ó. Concluímos algumas coisas aí.
And will you start an official investigation?
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
É.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn.
Show.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
É. Qual a conexão entre linchamento e a greve?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
É, você precisava de seguranças?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
Oh, e a treta?
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allows some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Que treta.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Cacete. Eu tenho que dizer, isso não é disco. Ai, ai, ai.
It is very far from Dysco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debarders have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Cacete.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
Conhecimento útil.
Work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
Que isso?
As I said, a bloodbath.
Olha. Tá bem sombrio esse rolê, hein?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Nó, ferrou então, hein? Esse coronel... onde estão os outros 2 mercenários?
Ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
A gente tem que saber cadê eles.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Olha, cadê esses caras?
One must be at the harbor gates, causing trouble, directing strike breakers, perhaps. You can hear the sounds of the ruckus coming from there all the time. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
Tá. Estou achando que a firma colocou um deles liderando o foro greve. O que você acha?
Maybe so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
É, o outro tá no prédio com vista para rotatória.
Would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I
Tinha
hope
outra
I can answer it
pergunta.
better.
Quanto tempo você acha que nós temos?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Tá. Você disse que ele tentou agredir uma mulher.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal.
O que eles
I found out
falaram?
the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Que mulher?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
Valeu.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news.
É.
If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Agora fala das tatuas aí, ó.
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Observa as expressões dela.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
O que você acha?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
Tá. Deixar isso de
I am
fora.
relieved you think so. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. Is there
Valeu.
anything else I can help you with?
Então é isso, né? Obrigado. Então, acho que agora nós podemos dormir. O que é isso aqui? Bom, vamos ver o que a gente vai fazer, né? Depois desse dia aí de investigações. Vamos dar aquela salvadinha. E galera que está aí acompanhando aí a nossa jogatina, agradeço por vocês terem assistido. Deixa aí os comentários dos momentos que vocês deram mais risada. Aquele abraço, galera, e bora continuar jogando RPG. Até mais.